There are two types of players, those who want stackable clues and those who don't. Actually, scratch that. There are three types of players, those who want stackable clues with a limit, those who want stackable clues with no limit, and those who don't want stackable clues at all. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. There are four types of players. Those who want stackable clues with a limit, those who want unlimited stackable clues, those who don't want stackable clues, and those that don't want stackable clues, but they want to be able to juggle them for an hour at a time. Actually, you know what? Scratch the whole thing. No matter what Jagex does, there's going to be a huge portion of the player base unhappy about the clue scroll situation. Jagex released the Poll 84 blog today, and stackable clue scrolls are coming in, it sounds like. And the player base is pretty mixed. We're in this big old mess because of two reasons. The first reason is Leagues. Leagues has a bunch of broken game mechanics. Leagues brings a ton of new players every single time, and every single Leagues players ask and ask and ask for Leagues gameplay in the main game. The largest offender of these asks are stackable clue scrolls. And number two, for some unknown reason, on the 6th of March 2024, Jagex updated the clue scroll drop timer from 2 minutes to an hour. This was unpolled and completely out of the blue. This was just a small footnote in the other changes section, but essentially this enabled the most wild form of clue stacking possible. To this day, it's wild to me that this wasn't reverted almost immediately. This hour-long timer has completely changed clue scrolls, and we've had a little over a year to develop methods to make use of it. You can juggle triple-step master clues to skip bad steps, you can juggle Sherlock steps to skip bad Sherlock requests like Skullball, and you can do Yuri skipping. You can see a lot of the tech from juggling clue scrolls was purely to skip bad clue scroll steps. Luckily, Jagex is balancing some of these bad clue scrolls, like the Castle Draken step, with some new shortcuts, but it's still not going to be as good as juggling is. Clue scrolls were originally designed as a distraction and diversion, and I think the 1 hour timer kind of ruined this. They are still mostly a distraction and diversion because not many people juggle them, but it's also weird that you can technically infinitely stack them. I don't hate this system, but I don't really like it either. To me, a big problem with the tech that evolved from juggling is it's all centered around skipping bad steps. I don't think bad steps are a problem. I think being able to skip and ignore bad steps is a bit of a problem. I see a lot of people framing juggling triples as a fun meta that the community created. But I think if Jagex has created clue steps that are so atrocious that they need to be skipped, that's an issue with the step itself, not necessarily clue scrolls as a whole. We play an RNG simulator game. Sometimes your clue will give you a bad step, and you can either do the step or drop the clue for a new step. And the rewards from clues really aren't that great. It's mostly a way to flex your collection log. There are some useful rewards, like Ranger Boots, but in the grand scheme of things, you can grind them out pretty quickly. I think clue scrolls should remain a distraction and diversion, and infinite stacking should never make it into the game. I love having things break up grinds for me. I'm currently grinding Fasani's Nightmare, so any reason for me to take a small break is welcome. With infinite stacking, I probably would never leave, and then in a couple months, I would look at hundreds of stacked clues and realize I just made another grind for myself. When JMods were throwing around the idea of stacking, I didn't really like it, but I told myself anywhere from 3 to 5 stacked up may make sense so I could do a Slayer task without having to take 5 breaks. And today, here we are at a maximum of 5. And I kind of like it the more I think about it, but I can see why a lot of people don't like it. A lot of endgame players, like Basiligus and Marnie, only have clue scrolls left in the game to work on. The 1 hour timer lets them complete clues much more efficiently, so they aren't going to be too happy with this update. And players that want clue scrolls to be easier want unlimited clue scroll stacking, so they can AFK fishing for a year and then do 1,000 clues at once. Since the collection log update, a lot of people want the free collection logs from clues without having to go out of their way. And then still, a lot of players think they shouldn't have to interact with clue scrolls at all for the best in slot range boots and just want those removed from clue scrolls. I have seen some players suggesting why not have the 5 limit and the 1 hour timer. But it brings me back to my point earlier where juggling is just there to ignore content. But speaking about ignoring certain steps, what I really don't like in this blog are the skip tokens. These are tradable items that allow you to just skip a step. It looks like they are getting a lot of backlash though, and they're probably going to change these skip tokens to reroll tokens. I'm still not a huge fan of that either though, because of the whole ignoring content part I talked about. Which brings me to another point I see pretty often, designing the fun out of things. There is the sentiment of, if a clue step is not fun, shouldn't you be able to skip it? Which brings us to a larger question. What clue step is fun? Many people juggle the Sherlock step to activate chivalry because it's fast. But is turning on and off a prayer fun? Is talking to Cam the camel fun? I think the fun part of clues is just being efficient, doing things quickly, opening your casket so you see a singular leather coif faster than the next guy. So with stackable clues, you probably won't be juggling a good triple, but there will be other methods to be efficient. All of this is to say, there isn't a one-size-fits-all solution to this. Personally, I'm happy with the 1 hour drop timer. I'm also happy with stacking 5 at a time. I wouldn't be happy stacking more than 5 at a time. But either way, it's not a huge deal. No matter what Jagex does, it's going to sound like the overwhelming amount of people are unhappy because there are several different ways Jagex could deal with the clue scroll limit. But there isn't a single correct way, even if it isn't exactly what you want. For example, if I was president of Jagex, I would say no stacking and a 2-minute drop timer. Somebody else would say stack 3. Somebody else would tie a stacking limit to combat achievements, but maybe then somebody else would say the more collection logs, the more you can stack. And then there's the people that want infinite stacking or the 1 hour jugglers. Overall, I think Jagex does a good job at listening to the community. I know we all get in our community bubbles, whether it be Reddit, Twitter, Discord, or something else, and feel like we know what everyone wants. I think the 5 stackable clues is a pretty good compromise, and it allows it to stay a distraction and diversion, but it lets you complete a Slayer task without juggling. I'd love to hear your opinions on it though, because maybe I'm just in a bubble of like-minded thoughts. I hope you all have a fantastic day. A huge thank you to the channel members. In the Distinguished Pencilman tier, we have Dakota A, Cody C, and Villain's Fury. In the right-hand pen tier, we have Timothy C and Single. And finally, in the Sir Pen tier, we have Mr. Blake himself. If you're interested in supporting me, there's a link in the description below. Thank you all so much, and have a wonderful day.